Okay, so in this discussion, we are going to focus on two subjects. One is the current affairs, second is the polity. So first we'll go to we'll see first current affairs and then we'll go to the polity because static part you have already done. So open the question number 84 till 100. Okay. What I felt is that these questions, around 16 questions, out of them 7 were more or less easy and 7 were around moderate question and 3 were difficult. We'll discuss one by one which was easy or not. The first question 84th is this CTBT. Now why it came in the news? Because of this Trump. Now Trump has disrupted whole this geopolitical ecosystem actually. So in that context there were nuclear threats were going on because of the Russia was telling like we can use our nuclear power. So in that context, this Trump also started saying that we will start testing more nuclear weapons. That is the context. In that context, there are many treaties. You need to cover them. One among them is the CTBT, that is a Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. There is Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty is also there. So there are 4 or 5 such treaties are there, very important from this prelims point of view. Why? Because of nuclear is highly in the news, not only nuclear weapon but also nuclear power. Recently Government of India have launched that bill, Shanti bill, to facilitate the participation of private sector in the nuclear power generation in India. So this nuclear is highly in the news. You can expect the question in the prelims as well as in the mains. In that context, these treaties are very important. And most importantly, in this treaty, most of the treaties, India is not signed or not ratified. So there you need to focus in which treaty India is a part, which treaty India is not part. And I think this question was based on that only. If you see the statements, it's saying that which among the following, first of all, is incorrect. It is saying incorrect. When it says incorrect, the treaty establishes a CTBO located in Vienna. It's difficult to remember the fact. It's difficult to remember the fact. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to solve this from the knowledge point of view. Let's try to see. This is difficult to know whether it is Vienna. We can get confused with Paris. We can get confused with Washington. Anything. Difficult. The CTBT bans any nuclear weapon test explosion on any other nuclear explosion. See, when it gives this any, we get confused. It's an extreme statement. So we might say that it is wrong. We might think like that. Right? So if you are solving without knowledge, that means you will call it as a wrong. That means it's a right statement. Still, let's go to the next point. United States and China are the only remaining NPT nuclear weapon state that have not ratified the CTBT. Again, an extreme statement. It's saying only these two have not ratified. Okay. So this question, if you start solving by those tricks which says that the extreme statements are wrong, then you cannot apply that trick here. You cannot apply the trick. You need the exact factual knowledge. Now the next statement is India signed the treaty but is yet to ratify it. Now first of all, you know that India does not believe in such kind of treaties. Why? Because it accepts that NPT, you know what is NPT? Non-Proliferation Treaty. There are 5 only countries which has been recognized under the NPT. Who are 5? US, Russia, China, UK and France. These P5. And these are the member of permanent UNSC, right? They have been recognized as a nuclear power, but India not recognized by the CTBT. That's why it says NPT. They said, okay, these are the nuclear power state. They can have it, but more testing cannot be done. So that's why India finds it's a discriminatory and that's why they have not signed it. Okay. So this statement, India has signed the treaty but is yet to ratify, is a wrong statement. And that's why, since it is asking incorrect, it's a correct option for you. So where you need to focus is that the most important thing they are going to check whether you know India is involved there or not. So it's about the CTBT, but cover other treaties also, and there most importantly check what is the role of India. Is India part of it or not? Has India signed it or not? Has India ratified or not? Okay, so this is about this question. It's not simple because of the statements. If you know specifically this part and this conceptually you are clear, India's foreign policy with respect to the nuclear power, then you can solve it. To be really honest, I didn't know this. I was confused here. I was sure with this because there is partial test ban treaties there, which partially regulate the test. This comprehensive, that means it regulates the whole, every type of test. I was sure about this, that it is correct. This is correct statement. I was not sure about the Vienna. I was not sure about this also. But I was sure that the India has not signed. So you cannot know everything here, but key things you need to know, and that was the question. Clear? So let's go to the next question. The second question is, consider the following statement regarding strategically significant island groups in the Western Pacific. See, the Pacific Ocean, especially this part. This part of the world is what? This is India, this is Russia, this is China, this is, you have here US, Alaska, and this is South America, right? This part is what? Pacific Ocean. This is Pacific Ocean, highly in the news because of the activity of this country, China. And here the China actually, here another country, basically dependent country as per the India stand is Taiwan. Here you have Taiwan. Now recently there is conflict. This is the Philippines is also there, Japan is also there, and here small island under which the US have the control. Hawaii Island is one of them. Hawaii Island, right? So the point is, this region is highly in the news. Highly in the news because of the activity of China. Okay, disputes are there, and now the Cambodia and there is Vietnam, or which country is fighting? Thailand and Cambodia. Thailand and Cambodia are also fighting. So that region, Southeast Asia and this Pacific Ocean, very much in the news. And since it is a Pacific Ocean, that means islands are going to be in the important area of, the coverage. We need to cover that area. Okay, is it done, ma'am? Yeah? Okay. So this area we need to cover. Here we need to know that there are important things are there which you have to cover. One is that islands. Second is that there are some lines they have drawn. 9 dash line. Some lines are there which we'll see. Chain of islands are there. Okay. Some volcanoes are also there in this region. So my point here is that most of the time UPSC asks question on the Middle East. Most of the time the locations they ask on the Middle East, West Asia. But this year, because of this also becoming the news, and they have already asked question on Afghanistan, Israel, such question they have already asked. So there is high probability that question can come from this region. So thoroughly preparation of this region is very important from geography mapping point of view. Okay. So now this question, again it's a very difficult question. I would say I have quoted this as a difficult question. Because if you have covered this specifically, then it's okay. But if you have not covered, solving through common sense or very difficult, almost impossible. Whenever you are not able to apply any logic to solve a question, it's difficult. Right? So here logic is not there. See, it's saying that regarding strategically significant island, Ryukyu Island. To be honest, I heard first time. Okay? So it's not possible that the island are a part of the first island chain. If you have covered particularly, then easy. But we are not going in that point. It's difficult. I don't know. Honshu is the biggest island of the Japan archipelago. If you have covered, then okay. Otherwise, no. Ogasawara Island are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Again, difficult. We don't remember our own country's World Heritage Site. How we will remember the Japan's? I mean, it's difficult. Then, Yonaguni Monument is a submerged rock formation resembling a man-made stepped pyramid located off the coast of Japan. Difficult. I will leave this question. And yes, I have not attempted this question. Better to leave this question, to be honest. If you have not covered it specifically, and that too, here if they have given 1, 2, 3, something we could have eliminated. But if they give only 1, only 2, impossible. Please do not attempt this. You will lose the 0.66 unnecessarily. How many of you have skipped it? Smart. You should skip this. That's the better, right? You should not solve the 100 question, right? It's better to skip this, but still we need to understand this concept. See, simple is that there is no logic, no need to worry about this type of questions. Simply cover them. Then only you can solve next time. So here what is that? This is China. The problem with the China is that they cover the majority area is like their own. Let's see. So one more image, that's important. China. You know one concept that is called as the exclusive economic zone. You know that? Exclusive economic zone. What is it? 200 nautical mile. Yes. So suppose this is India. Up to 200 nautical miles, India can have the exclusive right to have the economic activity in mining. Right? So similarly, China should also have the 200 nautical mile as their EEZ. But China says no. We don't want that. We consider this area as ours. This whole area. And they gave very less space to the Philippines. Okay. So they claim more. Now how they claim more? You know, they justify also. How they justify? They say, suppose here you have the Andaman and Nicobar. So this is India's. So around the Andaman Nicobar, 200 nautical mile will also be India's. Similarly, China claims many islands here as their own. Small island. So every island will be having the 200 nautical mile around them as the EEZ. So by that logic, China claims almost whole South China Sea as ours. That is Chinese. So that creates dispute with the countries around this South China Sea and the East China Sea. With the Philippines you have, Taiwan you have, already you know South Korea and Japan. This creates the news now for us. And second is that China consider Taiwan as its own country. And the West and US support Taiwan cause. Taiwan says we are not part of the China. And because of that, there are military activity of China in the Taiwan. So these two facts, one is Chinese claim over the South China Sea. Second, the Taiwan issue between the China and Taiwan and involvement of West in this issue creates this area as a key strategically important area. Now, when it is a strategically important area, it becomes important for us to know the important location. So here you see that first chain line, first island chain, second island chain, third island chain. What these island chain are? Island chain means you know that there are means the islands which forming one chain. That's the geographical significance. But what are its strategic and geopolitical significance? Anyone knows? Actually, who created this chain? Idea of chain? Not geographically, from the geopolitical and strategic point of view. USA. Actually, during Cold War, this phenomena came up during Cold War. China, this USSR, the communism and socialism was growing. So to contain the China and the South Korea, they started developing their military bases and started controlling these areas. So this, which is nearest to the China and the USSR, became the first island chain starting from the Kuril Island. Here you have the Kuril Islands, right? Starting from the Kuril Island to Japan, coming through here Taiwan, Philippines and Borneo. Here you have Borneo, till Borneo. forms the first chain of islands. Then there is second chain of island, that is the second layer of protection, defense you can say. Then you have the third layer. Now recently proposed chain island in Indian Ocean also they are proposing. You have the Sri Lanka island, Maldives, Mauritius, islands are there, right? Some French islands are also there in our Indian Ocean. So there also they are trying to develop the fourth and fifth island, that is a proposed one. But right now this is important for us. So here we need to know the important places. So let's quickly see them. That's very important is that this one. Japan, you know this is Kuril. This is Kuril. In the second, you have the Ogasawara Island, you have the Mariana Island, you have Guam and Palau. This Guam and Palau are very important. Guam, here US has a military base, one of big military base, right? So these are the important. And other, here it is saying the Ryukyu Island. Ryukyu Island is somewhere in the first one. Ryukyu Island. Here you have the Spratly as well as the Parcel Island. I remember them as SP. S below, that is the Spratly. P Spratly Island. So Spratly and this Parcel Island, these two are also important island here. And many questions were asked there, right? This is the Spratly Island, group of Spratly Island. This is Parcel Island. Here you have the Scarborough Shoal. See, if you will cover from the different images, it is going to be difficult. The best way is that create one map and locate the important islands and places on the same paper. That will help you to revise. Okay, here you saw like almost 3 questions came on the same topic. Repeated topics were there. The same location. See here. Now, how many of statement given above are correct? It is saying. How many are correct? Ryukyu Island, the part of the first island chain. Yes, correct. This is correct. Honshu is the biggest island of the Japan archipelago. Yes, Honshu is also one of the Japanese only. Ogasawara Island are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yonaguni Monument is all are correct. This is factual only. Nothing to discuss. You need to know this. There is nothing you have to mug up there. But this concept you need to remember that the first island chain, second island chain and third island chain. This concept is important. I think UPSC is going to give question more on this conceptual part. So you need to be clear, and if they ask question on this particular topic, you will be able to eliminate the options if you know the concepts. Okay, this island concept. Now the next was also 89th. Not the next one, 89th question, because it is similar, that's why I kept in the same place. It's saying to arrange the following island into South China Sea from north to south. Many times we get confused here, please, while solving, always mark the north-south. Sometimes they will change it to the south-north. And we mark incorrect. Be aware about those silly mistakes. Okay, north to south. Now the Parcel Island, Scarborough Shoal Island and the Spratly Island. What is the correct answer? 89. A. That is 1, 2, 3. That is first Parcel, then Scarborough and then the Spratly. Where is it? This. Yes. Spratly, Parcel, Scarborough, then the Parcel. So you see this locations. You need to locate them. So this is also the location based question. And they have the dispute with Japan. This again, the first island chain, which among the following are the principally composed in the first island chain? Just now you saw in the map, we saw the Guam Island is in which chain? Second. So this you can eliminate. 4 let's eliminate. 4 we can eliminate here. So now we cannot get the, okay. Kuril Island is first, right? At the top. So this we can get. So the B also we can eliminate. Then we are left with Philippine. Philippine also we know. Which one? First only, right? We saw the first only. So the Philippine is also the first island only. So 5th is correct. 5th is correct. That means we get the answer. So you don't need to know the every island there, but at least the major. Guam we understood it's not close to the China. It's in the second. We understood It is joining the Kuril Island, Philippines, Taiwan, and till the Borneo, coming up to down. So this could be solved. If you don't know the Okinawa also, it's okay. If UQ we just now saw, but it's difficult to remember UQ. But we can know the Kuril, Guam, and the Northam. These are well-known islands. You cannot remember these things are difficult, but well-known thing at least should be known. See, one thing please remember, we should not make mistake in those questions which everyone, when I say everyone means serious aspirant, will not make mistake. Suppose you are making mistake in this kind of question, where a serious aspirant know about the Philippines, Guam and the Kuril, he will be able to solve this question. But suppose you are not able to do that, that means there is a problem. But if you are not able to solve this question, it's unusual. Other will also not be able to solve it. It's almost impossible. Then it's okay. You don't have to feel worried like that. I don't know this question. Others might be solving. No, not possible. Even for any, the serious aspirants also. But the serious aspirants will solve this. So we should not miss this kind of question. So instead of trying to do extraordinary reading huge fact or the small facts also, try to be good in the simple facts which is known to everybody. That is the game. But what happens is that the most of the aspirant will try to focus on, oh, that year they asked this question, let me cover this also. See which questions are being repeated more. Be strong there instead of focusing on the one current affairs. Right, so that is the game where the most of the people fail. These are some images. This is that island. This is that structure in the Japan. That structure which got the some World Heritage Site. Yeah, this is again one location question. Very important. This also lines we have heard so many, isn't it? Like that these parallel line, 10th channel. So many times we have heard. So lines are very important this year. Lines means the dividing lines. Which line divides India and Pakistan? Huh? Which India-Pakistan border? Radcliffe. Radcliffe Commission was constituted by the British. No? So the point here is that we need to know these kind of. Here they have asked about the McMahon line, that is India-China. Correct. We know this. Similarly, they can ask this McMahon. They can ask other lines also. Okay. Yellow line. Okay. We'll wait for it. 18th parallel is related to. Is it correct or? Correct, right? North Korea and South Korea. 18th parallel. Very popular. If you cover world history, there we read about it. There was fight for this. The Korean Peninsula crisis. So the 18th parallel, please remember, this is North Korea and South Korea. Now here, the Karman line we study in space. It's related to the space. Basically, the question 1 and 4 has been exchanged. Sorry, yellow line is related to the Gaza demarcation line, and the Karman line is the technically space boundary 100 km above Earth level. The exchange has happened. And most of the you try to, when you will go home now, when you will analyze the PYQ, try to analyze. UPSC does this. Whenever the match the following is having 4 pairs, what they will do is that, suppose this is the question, they will exchange. How you know? Either they will exchange like this and this. So if they are exchanging like this, what will be the answer? If they are exchanging like this, none of the above, right? None will be right. If they are exchanging like this, then what will be the answer? Only 2. Most of the, try to see that, okay? It may not be always true, but try to analyze the UPSC previous year question. Wherever these 4 things are there and they are asking for a match the following, answer will be either 2 or none or all 4 are correct. The possibility of only 1, only 3 are very less. It's because of you also, when you will create the questions, you will try to replace, to confuse the student. and try to see this when you will go home and see the previous year question. And there are similar pattern when the 3 are there. We'll discuss some other day. Okay, so this is the yellow line, the demarcation. Basically, you know that the Israel has almost occupied the Gaza. So this is the area which they have left for the Palestine. Here, there was an agreement between the Palestine and the Israel. Yellow line they demarcated to give to the where the Israel will have control and where Israel will not have the control. Yellow line. Remember that, okay? This is the North Korea and South Korea, 38th parallel. The division. 38th parallel, 38 degree. This is the Karman line. You see the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Above the mesosphere and above the mesosphere, you have this Karman line on the 100 kilometer. The question can be, Karman line is between which among the following atmospheric layer also? They can change it and say that the mesosphere and the thermosphere between above the mesosphere. So such way when you cover, don't just cover, okay, Karman line is done. Try to see where is our International Space Station. Is it above the Karman line or below the Karman line? My point here is that you need to think about these aspects also when you cover. Don't just see the, okay, Karman line is done. I know 100 kilometer, but what is around that particular thing? What are the concepts? That's also the requirement of awareness is required. Okay. And now these are the border. You have the McMahon line. Arunachal Pradesh, this area is highly in the news because the China is repeatedly claiming that this area is ours. Recently, one Arunachal Pradesh citizen has been caught in the China saying that you are Chinese citizen. Right? That issue is there. So this area is also geographically very important. This area, map wise. So important here, important passes are there. Right? Pass are there. Here also, here important locations are there. So try to see those locations, this region. Next question is this, again, the match the following. 5 statements are there. The 5 pairs are there. Now, here, always when you will solve, go for the easy one. Uyghur Muslims, we hear from which context of which country? China. We criticize a lot China that they do persecution on the Uyghurs Muslims. So this is saying Myanmar, this is completely wrong. But in place of Myanmar, if they give Rohingya. Rohingya. If they give the Rohingya, now they have given Uyghur. So it's wrong. But if they change to Rohingya, it will be right. So Rohingya is related to the Myanmar, not Uyghur. Right? Now, second, Hamas, this also we know. Right? This is correct. So if 5 is not correct, all of the 5 cannot be the answer. Hamas is right. Hezbollah, Lebanon, we have heard so many times, right? There is fight going on. Basically, these are HHH. These are the proxies of Iran. And that is called as the resistance, the alliance, resistance alliance basically. They have allied to resist Israel. So this is also correct. Houthis are in, this is actually Oman. The spelling mistake is there, E. And actual answer is, the right answer is Oman or which country? Yemen. So instead of Oman, it is Yemen actually. The spelling mistake, that's what they asked in the class also. But they told me Yemen only. So I marked it wrong this. I thought this is, because Houthis are in the Yemen. Now if you see in the map, basically these are the country. This is Oman. India, if you go western side, here you have the Persian Gulf. Here you have Oman. Y-O-U. Yemen is here. And here, above the Israel, you have one country, that is Lebanon. This is Iran. Okay. And this is Palestine. Here you have the Palestine. So, in Yemen, you have which rebellions? Houthis. And in Oman, which? Hezbollah. And in Israel, you have Hamas. These 3 H are very important because we have heard a lot of time about them in our news. Right? But along with that, there are other rebellion groups are also there. Like here, Arakan army is there. The Rohingyas have formed one rebellion here in Myanmar. They're protesting against the junta government. Right? So some other are also there. We should be aware about them. Now here we know, okay, 2 is correct, 3 is correct, 4 is correct. So only 2 cannot be the answer. All of the 5 cannot be the answer. Now the confusion can be on the Kurd. Kurd is not well known. I mean, yes, they are. Once upon a time, the Kurdistan was one of the demands. So we used to study about it. But the Kurd demand is not highly in the news right now. So knowing about them is difficult. That's why I considered it as a little moderate to difficult type of question. Because now you need to know the first one also. But if even you know or not, if you reach till here, you should solve it. Either B or C. You should mark. If you have marked either B or C, then you should consider yourself as right only. Why I am saying is that because it's just a test and you need to arrive like this only. You need to arrive till you reach this, and this is the time when you reach the 50% probability area. So you should solve it. Now in this case, Kurd, I knew that the Kurds are around that, but to be really honest, I was not sure about it. So among them, I went for I think only 4. I went for only 4. Coincidentally, it became right, because the Kurds are in this area. Basically, in this Turkey is there, na? In this area, Iraq, Iran, in this area, basically they want to create the Kurds minorities or Kurd tribes are there, ethnic groups are there. Some Kurds are in Iran, some are in Iraq, some are in Syria, some are in Turkey. Together they want to make one country called Kurdistan. Exactly like in India, in Nagaland, some Nagas are in the Nagaland. Some are in Arunachal Pradesh, some are in Myanmar. And together they want to create a greater Nagaland country, Nagalim. So similar demand is also there here, like Kurdistan. So impractical. Do you think the other country will agree and make the Kurd? But it's a politically sensitive area. So the Kurds are in Turkey? Yes. It's correct. So only 4 will be correct answer. Next question is on Haqqani again. Terror, these conflicts, these locations, these are only in the news. Here also, Haqqani network, not very much in the news, but Rapid Support Force is highly in the news. UPSC have already asked question on this in the prelims. RSF, which country? RSF, not heard. This country. Sorry, this is Boko Haram. This, Sudan. In the Sudan, there is civil war is going on. Basically, war between paramilitary force and the armed force. It's like, you know, CRPF in country? CRPF is which form of military? Paramilitary. And we have Indian Army. Suppose the paramilitary, that is CRPF and the Indian Army start fighting. What will happen? Even the paramilitary, that is CRPF, is hugely armed, right? They have the huge arms, ammunitions. They are powerful. Similarly, Indian Army also is very powerful. If they start fighting because of some conflict to have more control over the country, then what will happen to the people? It will bring destruction or not? A huge destruction. And the same thing is happening in Sudan. Their paramilitary force, which is called as the RSF, Rapid Support Force, is fighting with the other, that is the armed force of Sudan. Both are fighting, and because of that there is a crisis. A conflict is happening. It will bring the humanitarian crisis. Right? So this is Sudan. Yes, correct. The Boko Haram is in the Nigeria, very unpopular terror group. Boko Haram. It is in Nigeria. And where is Nigeria? When you come to the Western Africa, this is Western Africa side. Here is the Nigeria, and above this Niger is there. And here one important lake is there, Lake Chad, which is also in the news. Lake Chad, because recently which country attacked the Nigeria? Bombing. US, and they have bombed near the Chad. That's why Lake Chad is also in the news. Here you see this in the border around this, which have the connection with all these 3 countries, 4 countries, with the Nigeria, Niger, Chad and Cameroon. These 4 are in the news because US bombing in the Nigeria near the Lake Chad. Now the Boko Haram is active in this region only. That's why US has said like we are attacking. That is in this southeast, this eastern region of, even in the southeastern region of Nigeria, they are active. These are highly unpopular terror groups. So this is correct. Haqqani network is, sometimes we used to hear Haqqani networks are there in the Pakistan and the Afghanistan. They are the terror group, as well as they are influenced by this Taliban. So they are involved in the organized crime terror attacks in India also. So the Haqqani network is with Afghanistan, yes. So all of them are, correctly asked. All of them are correct. The same question, that is on the issue of South Sudan. The question number 92. See question number 92. On the same theme, it is saying that on Al-Fasir. Now in Al-Fasir, the capital city of North Darfur has been under prolonged siege by the Rapid Support Force. Rapid Support Force is in which country? Which country? Sudan. Militia during the ongoing civil war in, what they said? South Sudan. That is the only point. Instead of Sudan, they replaced with South Sudan. So statement 1 is wrong. So answer you got is D. Only one word. Now you see here in the map, you have Sudan. Below this is South Sudan. So the conflict is going on in the Sudan, not South Sudan. So the statement, if you will mark this correctly, mark that South Sudan word, then you can get this answer. Then the other thing is simple. Humanitarian crisis in Al-Fasir has worsened due to the RSF bombing of civilian areas, including marketplaces and these things. Simple statement. The only thing you have to be careful here is that Sudan or South Sudan. Clear? Next. Marcus, this also came in the news because of the trade agreement India is negotiating, and already we have the PTA, that is the preferential trade agreement. Which countries comprised of? This is very, very favorite question of UPSC. They have already asked which among the following are in the member of G20. They have asked about the NATO in 2025, like which countries are not part of the NATO. So the organizations, the memberships are important. UPSC will ask Mercosur or not. This is, not that important like the ASEAN, RCEP, that is RCEP in the news. These are more important organization. SCO they can ask. BRICS has expanded, so there they can ask. Earlier BRICS has only 5 countries. Now they expanded. So on that the new expansion, the question can be asked. So that should be the priority. Then this, but still if it is in the news, we can cover how many among the above are part of Mercosur. So yeah, factual. You can't, either you know or you don't know. If you have not covered, you will skip it. Right? I have skipped it, to be honest, because how will you know? Exactly are they or not? Skipped. But we should cover them. Okay. Now this is Mercosur. Here let's go for little facts because it's a factual only. See, constituted in 1991, Treaty of Asuncion or something is there. You can pronounce better. Headquarter Uruguay. Bolivia and Venezuela joined later. First formed by the Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina and Uruguay. These 4 countries are the founder countries. Bolivia and Venezuela later joined, but Venezuela, there are a lot of instabilities there. So they suspended this country. So currently, if you say which are the member, so it is a member is Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina and Bolivia. These are the 5 member countries of it. Yes, India have the PTA, that is preferential trade agreement with them in 2004 only. So this much you need to know. More than that is not. Members is difficult to remember, to be honest. This small organization, whether we should remember or not. Again, I told you that you should prioritize these countries where India is also, interest is more involved. BRICS, SCO, you have this ASEAN, RCEP. These organizations are in the news along with the higher importance. So if the UPSC will give you, create some question on this, what you will create? Think like, will you think about the Mercosur or you will think about first the RCEP, BRICS? Definitely those things will come in your mind. If UPSC intentionally want to make tough question, then you will think this. But the normal question, the RCEP and those are more important. So cover 8, but the prioritization when you will cover should be the RCEP, Asia and these countries. Okay, then this. Next, Kandil Mountains recently seen the news are nestled in the border region between which country? Again, you need to know the geography. Here nothing is like concept. So yeah, you need to know, either you know or not. Factual question. So this is Kandil. Here you have Iran. Here you have Iraq. Here you have Syria, Turkey. You just saw that map, that which region? See this region. Here you have Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey. So this border region, this region. You have India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran. So Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey. So in this border area, they have this mountain, this mountain range. Syria, Turkey, Iran, and this below Iraq, that border range. So that much only you have to see once, that's it. With reference to the Maldives, consider the following statement. Yeah, Maldives is last year more in the news, this year less. This year Bangladesh is more in the news. India-Bangladesh relation is high in the news because of conflict going on. Previously, Maldives was in the news because of their president asked India to go out of it. So, but still it is in Indian Ocean, that's why. Incorrect asking. So, let's first consider see the Maldives, then we'll go to the question. You know, this is India, Maldives is here, this is the Maldives, and here we have our Andaman Nicobar Island. Other islands are also there like Seychelles, Mauritius, Reunion Island, Diego Garcia, British Indian Ocean Territories, Cocos Island. Again, islands are important here. Like in the Pacific Ocean, at least these islands, you need to know their location. The up and like this also. Now here if you see the Maldives, the first state, Maldives, so many islands are there. Out of this is equator, 0 degree. Below this there is one island, Addu Atoll, something like this. Difficult. Again, this is a difficult question. The first statement, the Maldives is located entirely north of equator in the Arabian Sea. Since it is a extreme statement, but it can be possible. It can be possible. This kind of extreme statement we cannot eliminate. It's not like the simple, the concept. It is a fact. It may be possible entirely above the equator. If say India is entirely above the equator, what it would be? Right or wrong? Is it entirely, there is no part of India is below the equator? Yes or no? Any part of India, is it below the equator? No, right? But if it is saying the entire India is above the equator, is it right or wrong? Yes. Right, no? Entire India is above the equator. There is no part below the equator. But just thinking like that this is entire which is extreme, I should eliminate, it should not be that approach. Factual things, especially polity, geography, these kind of thing, this kind of tricks doesn't work. So Maldives is located entirely north of the equator in the Arabian Sea. Wrong, because one part is below. It is separated from Lakshadweep by a 10-degree channel. 10 degrees channel is popular for which place? Andaman Nicobar. It separates Andaman and Nicobar. Right? So this is wrong. Which channel separates the Maldives from Lakshadweep? And that is the thing you have to know. Which channel? 8-degree channel. 8-degree channel separates India with the that is Lakshadweep with the India with the Maldives. That channel we need to know. So it is wrong. That is also wrong. Gan in Lamu atoll is the longest and largest island in the Maldives. Again, either you know it or you don't know it. What is the answer they have taken? 93. Yes. A. That is the 1 and 2 only. That means it's a correct statement. So, which among the following are incorrect? So, 1 and 2. Gan in Lamu. Difficult fact to remember. Difficult fact to remember. But this fact you should remember. That is 2. This should be known and these two facts are difficult. See, this is the 10-degree channel between Andaman and Nicobar. This is 8-degree channel between the Maldives and Minicoy. And between Minicoy and Lakshadweep, there is, I think, 9-degree channel, right? 9-degree channel and 8-degree channel. So, this channel also are important in Indian Ocean. 8-degree, 9-degree and the 10-degree channel. These 3 channels you should know. Next, 95 Indian luxury fashion brand. Yeah, this was very usually came into the news. This fashion brand, that is a Prada. They did one fashion show with this slipper, which was similar to our one traditional slipper design like this. So it created a conflict like the you have misappropriated our heritage as your brand. That's why it was in the news. On the same, the question is saying the simple thing is that, okay, this company copied Indian heritage to make their brand. They accepted also. You know, we could not do anything. They accepted that yes, we have copied because the lawlessness. Now the question is saying that which among the act can apply or restrict. The first act is Design Act. It doesn't have any provision for the cultural heritage like that, whether it will be covered or not. No provision. Copyright Act, it only applies to literary things, not to the designs of these cultural products. The 2024 treaty, it has not specifically mentioned about that cultural thing. Here, GI Act 1999, this also design part is not mentioned. Now, because of lack of law, they misused that loophole to get that product design from India, and they accepted also. So these laws are not applicable on it. So statement, this answer is D, none of the above. Understood? It's bad for our country that we are not able to document them and legalize them, and other countries are misutilizing for their promotion, and they are our people sell them on the streets, nobody buy, nobody purchase them. Now they have done like this. Now the people like us will purchase them because now it became brand, right? So that is the issue with this law also and this thing. Yeah, here CRISPR, have you heard this UPSC asked question earlier? CRISPR Cas9, frequently mentioned in the news, related to what? Right? It is basically gene editing tool. It it cuts the DNA and replaces with some other DNA. Simple. So this part can be replaced by some other DNA. So gene is edited. That is the technology basically. So in that line, India have developed one technology, Birsa 101. It's named from the Birsa Munda only. So 101. It's related to what? It's related to sickle cell anemia. Okay, sickle cell anemia. It's related to. It was developed to cure this particular disease. Next is with respect to the nitrofurans, consider the following. Nitrofurans are the group of synthetic nitrofuran based. This came in the news recently because we found like the egg. In the egg, this chemical is there. This chemical has been banned in India, still we found. Not in the normal street eggs, but the high branded eggs. So that's why it came in the news. So here, it's saying that their carcinogenic and the mutagenic potential, their use is banned in food products, animals in India. Banned in India. If India has banned, do you think like the European Union and other country won't ban? European Union is the first to ban this kind of thing. So India has banned it because we heard recently. That's why this statement is correct. And it is saying several other countries, not specified, very vague statement. So this is correct. 3 is correct. Now it is saying nitrofuran are a group of synthetic nitrofuran based antimicrobial agents. Now, not very sure. Second, they were earlier widely used in poultry, pig, shrimp and other. Yes, this we know. That's why it came in the egg. Due to their low cost and high efficacy, this has been used. That's why it came in the egg. So 2 is also correct. Now nitrofuran, why they will be using in the poultry and pigs? Mostly to cure the disease, isn't it? To cure the diseases. Whenever we get any cough or any cold or any kind of disease, the first thing we take is the antibiotic. The doctor will give some medicine, paracetamol, but they will also give the antibiotic to kill the bacteria or some which is causing the disease. So now it is being used for the poultry pig. They are using to treat them. So now if you know this part, nitrofurans are a group of synthetic nitrofuran based antimicrobial agent, that means antibiotic. It's an antibiotic. So statement 1 is also correct. So question number 97, answer is D, that is 1, 2, 3. That is, it's a microbial agent, that is the antibiotic used for the animals, domestic animals. Because of that, it causes some disease in human being. That's why banned by India and other countries. That is the crux. Next is the ED. ED, very highly in the news. One thing we are known to it is that it is related to, they filed cases for the money laundering, corruption, these things. Right? That is a popular ED. They have done some investigation in Telangana and AP also. Right? Because of the corruption, money laundering. So, yes, it is involved in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The common sense says that yes, it is correct. Foreign Exchange Management Act. That means if people are sending their money to outside or outsiders are sending their money to India, ED should be able to regulate them. Na? So what it is saying is that they have the task to enforce the provisions of foreign exchange and money laundering. It's correct statement because they should be able to do this. Second, it works under Ministry of Home Affairs. Yes, we can get confused here because most of the regulating body, police comes under the Home Ministry. Whether it is CRPF and other or the most of the investigative things comes under them. But since it is a financial frauds, who regulates the financial frauds, it comes under the Ministry of Finance. So this is the only thing we need to know. So this is wrong. It's saying the incorrect. Okay, we'll come. Like CBI, Enforcement Directorate can also register a case on its own. Now this was in the news, discussed a lot of time, but it cannot register. First, you have to file a police complaint. Upon them, the ED starts working. Okay. So like CBI, Enforcement Directorate can also register. They cannot register. So now it's asking incorrect. That means it's correct. It's correct. It's incorrect. So 2 and 3 only. B. Yes. Multidisciplinary. Yes. 1 is correct for sure. So if 1 is correct, actually if you know this, you can get the answer. The first point. If you know the first point, you can easily get the answer because 1 is correct, that means it's wrong. You can eliminate this. B easily you can get. Clear? Next is surrogacy. This also because news because of Supreme Court recent judgment regarding this. You know surrogacy, right? Surrogacy is between if the two parents are not able to, get the child. That is, mother is not able to not able to conceive, then what they can do is that they can donate their the sperm and the egg to the another woman who is healthy, who can take birth, who can give birth to the child on behalf of them. So this mother is not able to do, she will do it. So biologically, actually she is the one who is giving birth, but biologically that child is having DNA of which parent? Which parent? X and Z. So this process is called as the surrogacy. And this Z will be called as the surrogate mother. India was lacking the regulation. And around 2010, around that, India became the capital of surrogacy capital. So people from other country used to come India and they used to hire a woman and used to give birth to the child. So many times issue it happened is that what happens, this gave the child A. If child is healthy, okay. What if this child became physically challenged? They used to refuse to accept and go back. Now who will take care about this child? So many similar cases started coming, and that's why this regulation came, that is the Surrogacy Act 2021. It says, under the Surrogacy Act, intending couple is eligible for surrogacy only if the woman is between 23 to 50. I have, to be really honest, I have covered this topic. I taught also, but still I don't, while in the exam center sitting there, I forgot whether this age is correct or not. I mean, this much data is very difficult, 2350. If it is 2550, here also 2550, you can easily remember. 4 different facts, how will you remember? If you can, then you are non-human. I mean, non-biological, something. 23, 50, 26, 55. Very difficult to remember. So, we cannot say anything about it. We might think like the UPSC might have changed from 33 to 23, something. So, don't judge based on this. Single men are not allowed to resort to surrogacy under the Act. Yes. Most of the laws are against men. So, this they won't allow. Because the thing is that what if the apprehension is that what if the girl child is there, then the single man is there, they can exploit that apprehension. I'm not saying that will happen, but that is the mentality is there, and that's why whether it is the Dowry Act, whether it is the Sexual Harassment Act, mostly it is men, the security for the men is absent. So that idea is, that is the men right matter movement is going on to reform the laws. So here men are not allowed to resort to surrogacy under that. Yes, single man. Only a close relative of the couple can be a surrogate mother. Now, if you have studied this law, you can say that the right or wrong, but otherwise it's difficult to, consider it right or wrong. Because why should only close relative? Might be the little far relative also, you can think like that. But yeah, you need to know the exact law here. It provides that the couple who has adopted child can opt for surrogacy. It provides that the couple who has adopted child can opt for surrogacy. Now here you might think like, okay, adopted child now. So it's not their biological child. What if they want their own biological child? They should be allowed. Why should be their ban? I am thinking from the general thinking point of view. What is exact law? We have not arrived there. But generally how we interpret like this. But when you read the law, they said that yes, it should be closed to one only. Then only you can stop this commercialization of surrogacy. So why the regulation is that it has provided that only this close relative only can have, because otherwise the commercialization will happen. Now they will hire from some other people, other places. So to prevent the commercialization of surrogacy, yes, only a close relative of the couple can be a surrogate mother. It's also correct. Only close relative. Last, it provides that the couple who has adopted child. See, with law, when it is interpreted, adopted child and the biological child emotionally not differentiated. Yes, we can say that it's not my biological child, but when it comes to law, when Supreme Court interpret, they don't differentiate. Can they differentiate? It's adopted child, treat differently. It's your own child, treat differently. Not possible, right? It's discrimination. When you have adopted the child, you have considered that as your own child, with your emotions, with your mind, with your heart. So with that actually sense, yes, if you have the adopted child, you are not allowed to have the surrogacy. Okay, you can't justify that I have just 3 adopted childs. I should get a biological child through the surrogacy. No, that's logic is not possible. So it provides that the couple who has adopted child can opt for surrogacy. No, they cannot opt for the surrogacy. So what is the question exactly? Yeah. Incorrect, right? Incorrect. Okay, incorrect statement. So statement D is correct. Now you don't need an here. The last question is about this. What is the pre-Vihar temple? To be really honest, it's very difficult question. Again, difficult. But one thing you can know is that it is saying that it is a Hindu temple. Okay, it's a temple, that means the most probably Hindu. It can be Jain temple also. Lord Vishnu. One thing I knew is that in Northeast, this is Southeast Asia, Thailand. There the Cholas has the influence. And Cholas are mostly Vaishnavite or Saivite? Saivite. So the Lord Vishnu, I think it should be the Lord Shiva. So that only I could infer from this. So this is the wrong statement. It is asking, and now it came. I was really happy when I got this idea, but when I saw this, I left it. Because now you need to know the 3, 4, 1 also. It's difficult. Either you know or you don't know. Right? So you have to cover this. Is it a UNESCO World Heritage Site or not? These all things you have to cover. Now, based on the if you have read it, you know this. It is located atop a cliff of the Cambodia-Thailand border in the Dargred mountain region. Yes, this is that. Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia. This is that place. That's correct. And that mountain is there. Most of the things are in the mountain only. So this region, remember, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, in the border area, its place is there. Pre-Vihar temple. This is the temple image, ancient temple. Now this statement is correct. This is wrong. It was built firstly by the King Rajendra Chola I and then expanded upon by the King Surya Varman I. You can't get this answer. I mean, this is not static also, na, current. So, yeah, this is wrong as per the, the facts. It's wrong. It says that it has been developed by this Surya Varman and others. Is it a UNESCO World Heritage Site? What the key says? Yes. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So, 1 and 4, so 2 and 3, only 200, only 2 is correct. So, these are the all current affairs. Some are difficult, I would say. If you have got correct, see, in the current affairs, getting all correct is very difficult. I mean, the 16 out of 16, if you are able to get 8, 9 correct also, that's fair. If you have attempted all. But attempting all is also stupidity if you are going for the current affairs. Because many things they will ask randomly. So try to be very selective in the current affairs. If you know, then only it's logical. But in the actual prelims, you can attempt more because there will be the scope for the elimination. You can eliminate things more. But these are for the practice. Now let's come to the polity. The first question I would consider easy. Everyone should mark it correctly. If you are not, please go back and revise this chapter. That is this was related to amendment to Indian Constitution. As you know that the 3 methods, either you need simple majority plus state ratification. Now the state ratification is only required if it is related to the federalism, isn't it? If the state are concerned, then only it is required, otherwise not required. If it is not required for the states, if it is not impacting the core of federalism, then state consent is not required. Now, Supreme Court and High Court, if we change the Supreme Court and High Court structures and things, will it impact states or not? Yes or no? Yes. Significantly impact, right? Supreme Court is the one, High Courts are the one who are protecting the states from the center law. So, if they will change and make like in the Supreme Court, independence can be changed, then it will impact the states. So, is it required the consent of the state? Yes. Admission or establishment of the new state, is it required? No. Not required. Center wants, that's why they changed the Jammu and Kashmir, they changed the many states have been bifurcated. The consent of the half state is not required. Think like when the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh was separated, was the other states permission required? No. So, statement 2 is wrong. Any of the list in the 7th schedule, yes. 7th schedule is which schedule? What is it? What is 7th schedule? How many lists are there? 3 lists are there, na? That is union list, state list, concurrent list. Right? What it does? What is the objective of it? To demarcate the roles, to demarcate the power. Okay, these are the subjects, union will make the law. These are the subjects, state will make law. These both can make law. Example, here banking, only union can make the law. Police, the police is under the state law. Land, police, these things. Agriculture. Here concurrent like electricity. education, forest, concrete. Now suppose it is being amended, will it impact the power of states? Yes, significantly. So this also correct. Election of the president and its manner. Now in the election of president, are the states involved? Yes. Why involved? Because president is not only the representative of the union government but the whole country. Even the states are represented. So if their election is changed, then also it will impact. So only 3 is correct. C. Next is, under the how many of the following circumstances Parliament can legislate on the state subject? This is from the topic of center-state relation, the legislative relation chapter. In the center-state relation, whether the center can make the law in the state subject or not, in some extraordinary situation, this remember, as you know, Indian federalism is not complete federalism. It has more inclination to center or state, center, more inclination to center. So in certain situations, center can dominate state. That much conceptually we should be clear. Okay. Now if you are clear with that, when a proclamation of emergency happens, should center impose control over the state or not? Yes. So it should be right. If then the legislature of 2 or more states pass the resolution requesting the parliament, it requires the knowledge. Let's hold. When the central government needs to fulfill its international obligation, conventions and commitments, can they make law in the state list? Yes. Suppose, because center is ultimately accountable to other countries. Suppose central government had made some agreement with the US, and when it requires amendment in the law and states are saying we won't allow, then how they will fulfill their international obligation in United Nations and with the other country? Not possible. So this is also when they need, yes. When the president rule is forced, this is also kind of emergency. So say they should be allowed. President rule is. Now this is the thing, like the 2 or more state. If you have read the Lakshmikant, you can get it easily. Okay. 2 or more state pass resolution. Please, when you revise, keep it very clear. 3 or more, 4 or more, 5 or more than 1. They can change the facts. So while you revise, be careful there. So these all are correct. Next is, how many of the following features are not part of Indian parliamentary system? This is from the parliamentary system chapter. Very easy question. Not, it is saying careful of not, and it's saying the correct. The Council of Ministers are member of both the legislature and executive. Are they? Council of Ministers. Statement 1, is it correct or incorrect? Statement is correct or incorrect? Correct. Yes. The executive enjoys the right to get the legislatures dissolved. Is it correct? Yes or no? No. Executive, who is executive? Prime Minister, Council of Ministers. If Prime Minister wants, can he dissolve the Lok Sabha? What do you think? President will work as per the aid and advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. So if the Prime Minister is also part of executive, here they have not specified whether President or the Prime Minister. Not specified. President can dissolve. So the President have the right to dissolve, but they will on the aid and advice of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, right? So whenever, suppose I am a Prime Minister, I think like I have very less majority, I cannot survive. So before starting the voting in the Lok Sabha, I can say, President, please dissolve and start the election. Can I say that or not? Yes, I can dissolve. That's the thing now. Our Lok Sabha is unstable. Rajya Sabha is stable, permanent body. It's impermanent body. Any time I can dissolve. Right now, suppose the this TDP and the which is the JDU, they pull their support to the NDA government now. Then the president has to dissolve the Lok Sabha, yes or no? And president is executive. The president has the right to dissolve or not? Getting? Yes. So the president enjoys the right to get the legislature dissolved. Yes, they can dissolve. Okay, they can dissolve. Yes, they can dissolve. The Council of Ministers. But here one thing remember, legislature they have given. They should mention here Lok Sabha, because Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved even by executive. Rajya Sabha is the permanent member, but in key they have taken as the right. In sense we have to take, but if you go to literal sense, legislature doesn't just the Lok Sabha, na? Legislature also involve the Rajya Sabha. Can Rajya Sabha be dissolved by executive? Not possible. So it should be the executive enjoys the right to get the Lok Sabha dissolved. Then it will be the absolutely, the right statement. But here this vagueness is there, but in the key I think while making this statement, they have not considered that part. Okay. The Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. This is famous statement. Almost every year it gets. So it's saying the not part, none of are correct, because all are part. Next. The president must give her assent to the constitutional amendment bill. Yes. It was earlier not the part in the original constitution, but 24th constitutional amendment will make it part of it. But the statement 1, see, statement 2, the president cannot withhold her assent to the constitutional amendment bill, but can return the bill for the reconsideration. We know it very clearly factually that president neither can return nor the send for the reconsideration. They cannot do that. Right? They have to give the assent. So statement 2 is wrong, because it's saying that can return. They cannot return the constitutional amendment bill. So question 4, the answer is C. Only one of the statement 2 and 3 is correct. Yes, only 3 is correct, and that explains the statement 1. Because of 24th amendment only, the president must give her assent. So statement 3 explaining the statement 1. Yes or no? How it came that now the president has to accept if the constitutional amendment bill comes to the president. They cannot return it. They have to give the assent. They cannot just keep also. How it became? Because of the 24th amendment. And this is correct. 24th Amendment Act made it obligatory for the president to give assent to the constitutional amendment bill. Correct. And it is explaining statement 1 also. Because of this amendment, this is happening. So this is explaining. Statement 2 is wrong. So only one of the statement 2 and 3 is correct, and that is explaining statement 1. Okay. See, these kind of questions, the 3 statement question, you have to be little careful whether it is explaining or not. Practice more such kind of question. Next, which one of the following, this is the most simplest question I would say, that are justifiable in the nature and can be enforced by the court of law. It's saying that not correct. D. Doesn't need explanation. This is the most simple question. Next, when the Lok Sabha is dissolved, this is requires certain revision, but you can solve it. When the Lok Sabha is dissolved, what happens? A bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses. The Lok Sabha, what bill is pending? Lok Sabha is dissolved. The new Lok Sabha will come. Why they should care about the old bill? Right? So yes, it's a lapses. A bill passed by the Lok Sabha but pending in the Rajya Sabha does not lapse. Yes. A bill, Lok Sabha passed it, but it went to the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has not done anything. Should it lapse or not? It should lapse because it has been done by the Lok Sabha. See, Lok Sabha keeps on changing. Now it was my government. Tomorrow your government is coming. I made bill for the sports management, something. You may not have the support for the same sports bill, or the new, recently what bill came? Let's say Shanti bill on the nuclear energy. That came. Now the Shanti bill, now the current government thinks that the private sector should participate. Your government thinks like, private sector should not participate. Now the Lok Sabha has passed it. Okay, that means the previous government, previous Lok Sabha has passed it. sent to the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has done nothing about it. That means it's the business of only Lok Sabha. And now Lok Sabha is changing, your government is coming. Should you allow that to go further? No, because it has not been considered by the other body. So that's why the bill passed by the Lok Sabha but pending in the Rajya Sabha also lapses. Here, see, one thing remember, if only Lok Sabha is involved in the law making, other body, that is the Rajya Sabha and the President, has not been involved yet. If Lok Sabha dissolves, all bills and everything will collapse. That must remember. But see the next. So this is a bill passed by the Lok Sabha but pending in the Rajya Sabha, does not. Wrong. A bill passed by both the house. Now here, who is involved here? Rajya Sabha is involved. But pending the assent of the President does not lapse. Yes, it will not lapse. Why? Because the Rajya Sabha is involved. Okay, so this is correct. 3 is correct. A bill pending in the Rajya Sabha but not passed by the Lok Sabha lapses. Should it lapse? Huh? A bill pending in the Rajya Sabha but not passed by the Lok Sabha lapses. Is Lok Sabha involved here? No. So should it lapse? Why? Rajya Sabha is still there, na? Why it should lapse? So here Lok Sabha is not involved. Rajya Sabha is involved. Rajya Sabha is still there. Why there is need of lapsing? Getting conceptually? So this is also wrong. So only 2 is correct. So here you need to remember where Lok Sabha is involved. Where only Lok Sabha is involved. Other body has not taken any action. You know, 3 things are required to pass a law. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. Now, if a bill is only in Lok Sabha, other have not taken any action, any decision on it, it should lapse. But if bill is only in the Rajya Sabha, it doesn't bother the Lok Sabha, why to lapse? Getting? That much you have to remember. This is confusing. So, keep note of it and put a star mark in your Lakshmikant, whatever quality notes you are having, revise more this. They ask question on it. Next, how many of the following constitute the electoral college of the election of president? Again, easy question. We know the elected member of Lok Sabha, elected member of Rajya Sabha, elected member of state legislatures. So what it say? Elected members of both the houses of parliament, yes. The elected member of state legislative assembly, yes. Nominated members of the state legislative assembly, wrong. The members of the state legislative council, no role. So only 2. I don't think difficult, very easy. This is also, first one is it constitutional body or not? Yes or no? Yes. Which article? 260. Interstate Council 263. Okay. Law Commission, is it statutory body? It's an executive body. What is executive body? The body which is constituted not by any law, but just by the resolution of the executive. Suppose President pass a resolution or the Prime Minister pass a resolution and makes a body. For example, if I say the Cabinet Committee on Security, what kind of body is it? It's an executive body, just an executive resolution, not a statutory body. Statutory body is something which has been formed through law. Since it has been created, Law Commission only through the executive action, not a statutory body. It's an executive body. Zonal Council, non-statutory body. Is it correct? No. State Reorganization Act 1956 is there. 1950, the State Reorganization Act creates it. So it's a, again wrong. Non-statutory. It's a statutory body because it's being created through a law. State Reorganization Act. Northeastern Council, statutory body, yes, created through one act. This is coming from the topic statutory, non-statutory and constitutional body. That topic you should cover carefully. Question can come from there. So this is the easy topic. The 8th answer is B, that is only 2. Zonal Council is a statutory body from State Reorganization Act. Law Commission is an executive body through a resolution of the executive it creates. It's created. How many times the number of judges? It's impossible. I mean, you knew this. That is correct. Six was correct. Later on, I checked it. So 6. Which year? I mean, I don't think it's you will be able to remember. But now you got the question. Remember. But the similar question, if it is 3, 4, you can remember. Beyond that, it's very difficult to remember. If I'll ask you like which was the year, very difficult. Okay, so answer is 6. 6 times there has been increase in the Supreme Court number. See here, one fact is that who can increase? Who can increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court? Parliament. By the Parliament. See here. Now one question will come. Let's solve that first. This one, this one. According to the Constitution, who among the following determines the strength of the High Court? President. Here the President. Here it is the Parliament which determines the number of judges in the Supreme Court. But in case of the High Court, it's the President which determines the strength. So that difference, remember. Okay. And to be really honest, I got confused here. Right. This is the confusion. So this part, create the separate note. Who appoints whom, Bala? Like and where there is 1/3 requirement, 2/3 requirement, 4/5 requirement, create separate note of it. We get a lot of confusion there. Right? Many times like the CAG is appointed by, removed by different people. So where we are getting confused, please remember them. Next, this one, that is the number of minister. What is it? 12. It is a directly written, and through amendment it happened. They amended. Earlier there unlimited number of ministers you can have. I mean there was no restriction. Later on they brought the 15% of the member in the state legislative assembly and the Lok Sabha. But we saw that some states are having only 40. Then what will happen? The number of ministers will be very less. So they said, okay, there should be minimum number. Let's keep it 12. Point is, suppose how many seats are there in Telangana? State assembly seats? Sure? 117. Okay, let's take 100. Let's take 100 for an example, one state. That means, as per the current rule, only 15% you can have the ministers plus chief minister. So how many? 15. Okay. If I bring it to the 50 seats are only there, then how many? Are 8, let's say. 8 are very less to manage the whole state. Na? So they said like, okay, 8 is very less. Let's keep it 12. So minimum they decide 12, and this 15% you can have. Otherwise, the state like Uttar Pradesh, where 300, 400 seats are there, they will be having a lot of ministers, right? So that is the problem here. So 12 is the answer. Again, the factual. This was also factual. Which among the following constitutional amendment provided that appointment of the same person as governor for 2 or more states? What is the answer? 7th amendment. Okay. What is the 94th amendment? "94th amendment is not very important. You know, there is a tribal welfare minister. Appointment of tribal welfare minister. It was established that tribal welfare minister should be there in the states. Earlier it was in Bihar, mandatory. But then they changed. Tribals are less in the Bihar. Why they changed? Because the Jharkhand was separated from which state? Bihar only. So earlier Jharkhand was the part of the Bihar. So in Jharkhand majority of the population is tribals are there. A lot of tribals are there, right? So when the Jharkhand and Bihar were together, a majority portion were the tribal. That's why there was mandatory that state of Bihar, which was the undivided Bihar, should have one separate minister for the tribal welfare. But then this Jharkhand was separated. Then in the Bihar, the tribal population is very less. So this mandatory thing has to be removed. So through 94th amendment, we removed that part. there is no mandatory that Bihar has to have one tribal minister separately. But now Jharkhand was made. Do Jharkhand need the tribal minister? Yes. Now that substantial number of tribals are there, so that Jharkhand should have a tribal minister. So that provision was added. Similarly for Chhattisgarh. For Chhattisgarh also one tribal minister should be there. So that changes they made in the 94th amendment. That is related to the tribal minister for the state of Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. 91st is related to 91st. 8th schedule. What is 8th schedule? Language. 91st is related to your this one, that is 15%.